I was once an intern at McDonald's where they make McDonald's. Anyway, so it was my second day on the job and I decided to have a look around. I walked to the back room which had a crudely drawn sign on the wall which read, "This is where all our meat comes from." I wondered what was inside. I tried the door and it swung open. I wasn't at all shocked to see what was inside. Hundreds upon hundreds of fat guys riding on a conveyor belt into a meat grinder that said 100% beef. Out of the other side come fresh McDonald's patties. I vomited everywhere. It was a vicious cycle. Fat guys were fed to fat guys. I have found the original copy of an old missing TF2 project that I've downloaded back in the days when the TF2 block had different layout. I've clicked on the soldier icon, then appeared previews and deleted scenes from Meet the Soldier. I've downloaded the deleted scene, which was called suicide_soldier.avi. The story is below. So do any of you remember those Valve first TF2 movie projects? The ones that were just put out on the Team Fortress 2 block a few years ago? Well, I hear there is one that was unreleased to even the most avid fans of Source Engine games. According to sources, it's nothing special, it's just a continuous loop. The colors are black and white, fault of a sudden error on color and textures, of soldier walking past a GM construct wall that goes on for 1 minute before fading out. Unlike the Valve Studio orchestra songs put in though, the music on this scene was not a song at all, just a constant banging on the piano as if the keys for a minute and a half before going to white noise for the remainder of the film. It wasn't the psycho soldier we've come to love either. Soldier wasn't warring, not even smiling of his psychopathic laugh from death of his enemies, just kind of walking as if you or I were walking, with a normal facial expression, but for some reason his head tilted side to side as he kept this dismal look. Up until a year or two ago, everyone believed that after it cut to black and that was it. When Robin Walker was reviewing the weird continuous scene to be put in the complete Mute the Soldier, he decided it was too junk to be public, but wanted to have a digital copy due to the fact that it was a creation of John Cook. When he had a digitized version up on his computer to look at the file, he noticed something. The scene was actually 5 minutes and 16 seconds long. This is what my source emailed to me in full. He is a personal assistant of one of the higher executives at Valve, an acquaintance of Mr. Walker himself. After it cut to black, it stayed like that until the second minute before going back into soldier walking. The sound was different this time. It was a murmur. It wasn't a language, but more like a gurgled cry. As the noise got more indistinguishable and loud over the next minute, the picture began to get weird. The sidewalk started to go in directions that seemed impossible based on the physics of soldier walking, and the dismal face of soldier was slowly curling into a smirk. On the third minute, the murmur turned into a blood-curdling scream, the kind of scream that's painful to hear. And the picture was getting more obscure. Colors were happening that shouldn't have been possible at the time. Soldier's face began to dupe and smelt. His eyes was missing and his coat's mouth was pointing upward on the left side of his face. The walls became very bright and the sidewalk was still impossibly navigating in warped directions, a few seeming inconceivable with what we as humans know about direction. Mr. Walker got disturbed and left the room, sending an employer to finish the video and take notes of everything happening up until the last second, and afterward immediately store the scene to the movie into the vault. This distorted screaming lasted until 5 minutes and a few seconds in, and then it abruptly cuts to the soldier's melted face without his eyes, at the credits of the end of every video with what sounded like a broken music box playing in the background. This happened for about 26 seconds, and whatever was in that remaining 26 seconds I haven't been able to get a sliver of information about. From a security guard working under me who was making rounds outside of that room, I was told that after the last frame, the employer stumbled out of the room with pale skin saying, "Real suffering is not known," 7 times before speedily taking the guard's pistol and offing himself on the spot. The thing I could get out of Robin Walker was that the last frame was a piece of Russian text that roughly said, "I'll enter in your nightmares, just wait." As far as I know, no one else has seen it, but there have been dozens of attempts at getting the file on rapid share by employees inside the Valve studios, all of whom have been promptly terminated of their jobs.
I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get respect up on the street.